the first skill I ever learnt from meditation was how to be present, and I don't think I ever learnt how to do that before. And
So, just before you carry on,
yeah,
explain the concept of being present. Explain what that means for you,
yeah.
and just talk us through it, because there'll be some people listening to this who just don't know what that means and what that phrase actually means.
So for me, it feels like being able to express myself in a way where I'm not stuck in my head. It sort of just comes out. So if you're listening to a beautiful song and you're stuck in and you're just flowing with it, do you know what I mean? You ever been to a concert and you're just flowing with the music, man, and just you're not thinking about anything else? For me, it's about being in the room and not being in your head, because you can physically be in a room full of people, but you ain't really there. Do you know what I mean?
So true.
Or not? Yeah,
So true.
you can be in however many different miles away in your mind. So I think it's about seeing all these objects around you and sort of feeling connected to everything. It's about that feeling of connection. And if you're not present, you can't have a meaningful conversation with people. You can't, because you're too worried about what you're going to say, or what's you're worrying about the thoughts that you've got going on. And
Have you ever read something and you've had to read it again
yeah, I have,
because you're just not present, because you're not concentrating on what's in front of you, or you've watched something and you've been like, oh, I have to rewind that and watch that again, or you've walked somewhere and you can't even remember how the fuck you've got to where you're standing right now.
yeah. I think
That is what Lou's talking about. That is exactly what Lou's talking about.
everyone does it, mate. Like,
Everyone.
we've all got distractions and stuff, but I think you know when you're truly present, because it's just it's a feeling of peace. That's all I can describe it as. There's not really a word in the dictionary that can truly describe what being present is, but when you are present, you'll know about it, because it's just pure bliss and pure peace.
You notice colours. It feels like you notice
Yeah.
colours. You hear sounds, and it sounds so stupid, but it's if you've ever experienced before, you'll know what I'm talking about. You feel like you can hear things clearer. You feel like you can see things better.
Yeah,
And
you can.
emotions feel stronger.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's because you're not stuck in the future, you're not stuck in the past, you're in the now. Whatever
Yes.
you're experiencing all of it. Like Jack said, sounds for me was a massive one in vision, and just
Colour was mine.
it's beautiful, man, because you realise how nice the world is. It's like if you go into a bar with all your mates and you're all sitting there on your phones, you ain't in the present moment, man. You're not. Do you know what I mean? Because then again, you've had those times where we've all been out and we've been smashed and everyone's talking and chatting, and that's when you're in the present moment.
Yeah.
And then I'll sometimes, like, that'll be going on, and in my head I'm thinking, like, when we were in Dublin, I was like, fucking hell, this is mint. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I really, really want to savour this memory, because I'm having an amazing time. And sometimes with the present moment, when you anticipate it as opposed to how it actually happens, it's so much better when it actually happens. Like, it's always better than what you anticipate, if that makes sense as well. Like, it's like almost euphoric, man. It's just...
Mate, it is.
Yeah,
It
it
is.
really is.
I encourage anyone who's listening to this to look at how to be present.
Mm.
Look at how you can be present. So, once you just established how to be present, what did that teach you? Talk me through the next, because I interrupted you. So,
No, it's fine, mate. I think it's about, once I became present, I was able to notice things more. I was able to have, like I say, more meaningful conversations. I was able to look people in the eye and say what I really wanted to say. It wasn't like I was speaking to you, but in here I'm thinking about this, that, or the other. So it's kind of like when you're in the present, life just takes over, man, and it just flows naturally. I can't really explain it much more than that. Like, all I can say is learn how to become present through meditation, and then you can use that skill anywhere. Like, you can end up it doesn't take you, like, say if you're in a situation, like a social situation, you're able to replicate that feeling of being present like that, aren't you?
Yeah.
With enough practice. And once you do that, the suffering ends, the fun times begin, and you're not stuck in your own shit, basically. And you start to process stuff as well when you're present. And
Yeah, so I was just about to say, so how did that help you process the regret? Like, how did that help with that stage of, how did being in the now help you process being in the past?
because I realised that everything's just okay the way that it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here right now on this podcast.
Life's still beautiful.
Yeah, life's beautiful, and like I'm okay. I'm okay, physically, mentally, spiritually.
Yeah.
Like right now, I am okay. And if you can just carry that moment by moment, you realise that actually, I'm always okay.
Yeah.
And then you start to have some kind of overwhelming enlightenment, in a good overwhelming, where you're just like, yeah, like I can relax now because everything's fine. And that's the whole premise of what I was going through 4 or 5 years ago, was the fact that I never felt safe. Therefore,
Yeah.
I was never in the present moment. I was always perceiving danger. I was always thinking about the future. I was always thinking about the past, consequences, this and this. And even as I'm explaining it, you can just see the fuckery of the mind. How you imagine all that stacking up in your mind compared to, I'm okay. This is the situation I'm in, and let's flow with it. It's so much nicer. So much more beautiful, man.
So what are the things that you used to tell yourself then? So when you're in the present moment and those thoughts of the past.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. Talk to me about how you've checked yourself in. You're in the present moment, and then an intrusive thought comes in. How did you manage to deal with that? How did you process it?
I processed it, sorry man, through something called semantic experiencing, which is what I keep speaking about, is the body approach. So in short, what will happen is you're in the present moment, you'll get an intrusive thought. What's going to happen then is you're going to tense up, correct?
Yep.
So what I would do, takes 1 to 3 seconds. So you can see my neck there now. I'll just literally just relax, and then bang, I'll focus back on life. So say if I was talking to you, me and you were having a laugh, I get this horrible intrusive thought, bang, I'm tensing up. Relax the tension, and then just carry on speaking to you. And then eventually, those thoughts just stopped bothering me, because the more and more that I did that, the less charge was in those thoughts. Whereas before, every time I used to have those thoughts, I'd grip on for dear life, and I'd keep grabbing, and it'd get more and more. And then the next time I had the intrusive thought, I'd be like this, and then the whole idea,
like a cardboard.
Yeah, the whole idea of semantic experiencing, which again, it's easy just to say the body approach, is self-regulation, and that's just throughout your day, calming your body, like in any situation. It literally takes 3 seconds. You can just either take a big deep breath, or you can just drop your shoulders. And for me, mate, I'm telling you this because it was key for me, because with meditation and yoga, it's kind of like you have to leave the situation that you're in. Whereas with self-regulation, you can calm yourself.
Still be present.
Yeah, you can be present. You can calm yourself and activate that parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for feeling relaxed in any situation. So you could be in a social situation, a meeting, and then the first thing I'll do now, if I have an intrusive thought, is I'll check in with my body, and I'll always be tensing. So then I'll relax the body, and bang, focus back on life. And then after time of doing that, because I probably do that even now, mate, 100 to 200 times a day. I probably do it every 5 to 10 minutes, but it's not a big deal when it takes like 3 seconds. It really isn't. So yeah, over time, the charge in those intrusive thoughts just completely went away. I know that there's obviously other approaches, and that's what I'm going to ask you about, because that's my way, and I want to know what your way is. Was it sort of just kept... I think ultimately, though, it's bringing yourself back to the present moment, isn't it? Whatever you do.
Yeah. For me,
Acceptance, maybe.
Forgiving myself, forgiveness.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing to do. Just to be able to say, it's okay. And I remember listening to this is when one of the first times it first properly hit me, and this is when I let go of a lot of my regrets.
Yeah.
As I've mentioned in a previous podcast, I used to listen to a lot of motivational videos.
Yeah.
And one of them starts with, "It's okay. It's okay." And it says it about 3 times. And I heard it. And after I heard it for the 3rd time, I just broke down. I just absolutely just broke down. And just hearing someone say, it's okay to feel the way that you're feeling, allowed me to say it to myself. And I think that, and every time now I feel any kind of regret, any kind of negative emotion, I replay that video. I must have replayed it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Just in my own head. And I'll actually say it's okay. I'll just use them words, and it's a check-in with myself to say, you are feeling the way you are. It's okay to feel the way you are, and that's check-in with it. It's doing exactly what you're doing. It's just by using a word instead of...
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. Like, that is what you're doing. It's just another form of self-regulation. Everyone has to self-regulate. Jack's talking about it. I'm talking about it. If you're not doing it, get on it, because it's amazing stuff.